So this video is going to cover some strategizing that I do for the entire week, just while we're still on day one. And it's also going to show you how I set up the calculator spreadsheet for the week. So this is planning my round one. Um, I didn't want to put too much thought into it. It was pretty straightforward for me looking at our enemy guilds this week that I don't need to be too concerned about either of them at this point that we're facing here. Of course, in later rounds, we need to be considerate of the fact that these two guilds might be allies. Considering that one of them doesn't have an active leader, I think that that's going to be very, very unlikely, simply for the fact that the leader of this guild isn't going to know who to contact. The only way to contact them is to reach out in Clashfront chat, and they're always not going to do that where everyone else can see it. So it just becomes a little bit more harder for them to ally up, and I don't think that they'd be organized to do that as well. I could be wrong, and we'll see through the week whether I can sort of see any patterns that they might be working together. But for now, for our guild, I decided to do pretty much an even split on our two 100s and put a few people on our 80 tile. If you're concerned through the week that you might not be very far ahead in points, you might decide to pull a few people onto this tile and go for a few more trial points. It's really up to you and how you think the week's going to play out. You can also put more people on this tile and like less on this one if you think that you need to do that. For example, if I was worried that they're going to put all their teams on here and that we might struggle, then I would put maybe 70 here, 10 here, and 20 here, knowing that this purple team isn't going to put up much of a fight. For my guild, I'm not concerned at all. So I've just done it this way to make it easier for my guild members, just to even split. You can see that I've got one too many on here. It's actually my fault. I asked one of our vanguards to move here, so we already had 10, and I added a vanguard, so I'll move off myself at the last minute, or one of my guild members will move off. They're really responsive, so I don't have any concerns. But yes, and especially round one, one team member being in the wrong spot is probably not going to cause any problems for us. I'm just very lucky that my guild are very responsive. They're very good. I'm moving the teams where they need to be. So I don't need to worry about that too much. If you have a guild that is a little bit slower to respond, then perhaps getting in your deployment plan early is really important, and potentially giving them some sort of direction that you're going for the week could be useful as well. So you could say, okay, on the first day of the week, you could say, okay, round one, we're going to be taking these. Round two, we will be taking, these tiles. And that way you can give them, a bit of an idea of where to go, especially if you're not going to be online for the start of that, second deployment round to allocate the numbers on the map. It could just be very helpful for your guild. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I plan out the spreadsheet for the week, and it's probably a bit of an ambitious plan, and it's definitely going to change through the week. It could change in the way that we claim more tiles than I'm planning. It could be that my guild says that they're a little bit tired and they just want to sit and protect and just take it easy this week. I'm pretty flexible with the guild, just to see how we're going, and always happy to change the plans if we need to, not overextend. And it's one of those things that, yes, we have to deploy every single day, we have to be attentive to it, but it shouldn't be taking up too much time or too much thought for your guild members as well. So try and keep it simple for them. So let's go over to the planning sheet. Okay, so this is my Clashfront calculator. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up the teams or the guilds in each of these. So this is just your starting point. At round one, we've not been using this point override at all. I will cover that in later round preparations in this video, but for round one, it's not really going to be useful for you guys at all. So when you come to the point calculator page, You'll see that all of your guilds are set up in their respective corners, and all of the points are currently set to 0. I did consider automatically setting these to the guild that is directly linked to them in the first round, and even into the second round. The reason I didn't do that is we had an interesting one last week where the Aqua Guild didn't actually take their tile. Um, they were very inactive, and while I don't think it's would be common that that's an issue, I didn't want to set any automations or any automatic selections. So what I'll do for my round one, which is the most simple round to set up, is I'm going to automatically select all of these for the teams. Because we know that they'll be taking those, or they should be taking those at least. And then I need to make a decision on where I think the rest of these bases will go. I know that versus purple, that my guild is 100% going to take that tile, and I don't have any concerns about taking this one from gold either. So I'm going to also take that one for ourselves. Now I have a decision to make on who I think is going to win this tile. I am pretty sure that Aqua is going to take this one against purple. It'd be a bit odd if they don't. In saying that, they don't have an active leader telling them where to go, so it's any person's game at that point. This one, simply for the fact that I think the gold is the slightly stronger guild and they have a leader giving them direction, I think they're going to end up with this base here. So I'm just going to assume that this is the case. Now at this point, you can start to see the points adding up along the top. If it happened that Hooligan were to take this tile, then they're going to be on similar points to us. And then it'll be sort of down to your skirmish points and your trial points. Although at this stage, I don't think it's overly worrisome if they get slightly more points than you. It just really depends on how tight you think this round of Clashfront is going to be. Definitely later in the overall event, you might find that you're up against guilds that are going to be more competitive. That's when your trial points and your skirmish points are going to become most important. But at this stage, I think that yellow is actually going to take this, or gold's going to take this, so I'm going to put them in there. Now, I'm going to do some predictions. I usually go up to round 3 on the first day. I don't want to go to round 4 and round 5 until I start seeing what those guilds are doing. And for all I've said that this could be our biggest competitor, it could be that their guild members don't participate in Clashfronts at all. Even though they're the most active team and the highest power team, they might not even be deploying. So I usually go up to round 3, which gives myself a general idea of where I plan to go with my guild, and then I sort of adjust it as I go. So for now, what I'll do in round 2 is I know that these tiles are most likely going to stay this way. It is possible that, for example, they could come along here and take this tile like this. Considering that this purple team is very weak, it's a possibility. I just don't feel like they're going to do that, because I feel like they're going to try and compete with us on these 2 tiles. So I'm going to leave it with mono for now. I could be wrong. We're gonna see after round 2 is completed whether I was guessing right or not with that. This one is going to stay with them. This one, I'm assuming, is going to stay with them. We're definitely going to keep holding this tile, and I know that they're going to keep that one. So it's very similar to what we have here. Well, it's exactly the same. And what we need to do is decide where we think that we'll be able to take extra tiles. So for round 2, I definitely want to be aiming for this tile. It's a free tile at this point, because it's only linked to our base. So we could put one team member there and take that tile with no problems. The tile here is the riskiest tile because that is going to be connected to both of these teams or these guilds. If Aqua was to take both of these, it would be a little bit less risky. And I say that because they're going to be deciding where they want to spread their team. So if, for example, they actually took this tile, they would need to defend against gold here. They'd also have to try and fight us potentially here. Oh, sorry, not this one, here and here. And they would need to pick which one they want to try and take. Now, considering that I think that this is actually going to be the situation, I know that they're going to take this one, and I have a feeling that they're going to go for this one. But I don't think that they're going to beat us, so I'm going to put us against this tile. I don't have any concerns about taking out their team. Now, we come back to this question of whether my guild goes for this tile or not. And it's a question because I feel like they might be fighting gold as well on this tile, and we will end up in a three-way conflict. And considering our enemies' powers compared to my guild, I feel relatively confident that we can also take this tile. If I see the round one results and I start to see that either gold or blue is particularly stronger than I expected, in maybe a later week, I'd probably reconsider taking that tile. But this week, I think I'm confident that my guild will be fine to take that. So at the end of round two, this is what I expect the map to look like. You can start to see that already at this point, my guild is ahead in points, but we are starting to stretch ourselves a little bit thin. The positive is that when we come to round three, we start getting access to some free tiles, and by free, I say that we either can leave them empty or we can leave them with just like one team member, and that's going to be enough. And then you can decide like where you want to take your stand. If you have a lot of weak guilds, you might be able to keep a lot of tiles and also gain more. If you are up against some stronger enemy guilds, you might decide that you just want to go all in on the tiles in the middle and stop protecting the ones on the outside. Now, continuing with my guild, because we're relatively confident with how we're going this week, I'm just going to quickly set these in. There, there. Okay, so this is basically what we have in round two at the moment. So I have the choice to go for some tiles that are connected. So I could go for this one and I could go for this one. I think at this point in round three, it's probably not worthwhile unless you have a treasure in one of in here. If there's a treasure in here, it could be worthwhile for you to start taking this tile so that by the time you get to round four, you can access this tile. In round three, you take this one, round four, you can get to the treasure. And that would be the only time that I think that it would be beneficial to come here. Or if both of these guilds are like very, very, very weak and you don't have any issues holding this tile at this point and keeping this one as well. Even for my guild, I don't think we're going to stretch that far in this round. We're just going to solidify our position around the middle of the board. So I'm going to take these ones first because I know that these are what I consider free tiles. Again, no one else has access to them other than us because we have these three tiles surrounding them. And then what I'm going to decide is how many tiles I want to take out of the remaining up here. So I don't have access to this one, so this one's definitely something that we're not going to take. And I have to make a decision about where I think this guild is going to go. They could go for any of these four tiles, and I think it could depend on where the treasure is at this point. For example, if the treasure is over here, then they're probably going to focus on this one. At this point in time, I'm going to say that we will take all of these tiles just based on our team activity, our team power, and everything relating to that. And I'm probably even potentially going to this one here, and I'll explain why in a moment. So at this point, this is sort of where I'm thinking for our guild. Obviously, it really depends on your enemy guilds, if you have allies, if you are worried about these guilds at all, coming and taking these bases. What you kind of want to get to is a point where you can just stop and protect certain points. If you have an ally on this map, it's probably going to make things a little bit easier. For example, if we were allied with Aqua, we could have them protecting these, or we protect these two, and then we can share these 6 in the middle. So it just really depends. For us, we're just going to try and take majority of the board, um, just for some security. That's it for this video. The next video will cover how I allocate team counts to bases, and also have a quick run through of how I applied this strategy in the previous Clashfront week.